You can't touch me! Back away from us!
You can't touch me. Back away from us. This woman was terrified to find out that she was fighting against the whole world. Everyone else can share the same consciousness and live in harmony. Only she insisted on being independent and tried her best to save this sick world. Since the incident of the hand grenade, Carol has learned more about these infected people. The other party will satisfy their own needs, even if it threatens their own safety. Confirming that Zoja has gone through a dangerous period, Carol left the hospital without hesitation. Her small broken car was torn to pieces recently. This time she finally took action. The woman looked around and finally saw a police car on the side of the road. At the next moment, she drove away from the hospital. Carol knew that she would not be prosecuted. This is the privilege of the immune person in this world. Not long after, a kind greeting was sent to the intercom and reminded her that she could make any request at any time. Carol has long been concerned about this. When she arrived at the door, she saw many blind figures in the yard. The long-legged explained that they were helping to clean up the explosion. Carol resented this kind of behavior. She was about to rant when she suddenly saw a familiar figure in the crowd. The mayor came to help her clean up the yard. Carol stood still. Is Zoja right? When everyone can share their thoughts and consciousness, all the previous inequalities will disappear. But Carol soon regained her original intention. She still prefers personalism. Only the collision of different thoughts is the driving force for social progress. Carol began to think about how to save this sick world. She wrote the characteristics of the infected on the board. She was eager to please herself. She could even give a bomb. If you want to eat meat, you have to wait for your family to die naturally. If you don't engage in privileges, all the infected are the same. The infected desperately wanted to transform Carol into an immunologist, but when it came to whether the infected was honest, Carol was a little uncertain. She was going to find someone to test it. Without hesitation, the mayor was excluded from the meeting. In the end, Carol chose the long-legged, who looked a little shabby. The two people sat opposite each other at the table. She asked directly, "Do you like my novel?" The long-legged shook his head. "We all like your novel. This is obviously a pleasure." Carol doesn't need this kind of public answer, so she asked, "What do you like specifically?" "All the memories of these infected are the same." The long-legged turned to a passionate fan. This made Carol a little difficult. This kind of strong subjective view can't tell if the other party is lying. Carol can only mention the person she knows best. That's the dead agent, Helen. Although she emphasized many times that this is a taboo in her heart, but now she can't care so much. Carol asked, "How does Helen view her novel?" The long-legged hesitated for a long time and gave a cold answer. Carol was not satisfied with this. With repeated questions, the long-legged finally told the truth. Helen didn't like this book. She didn't even read it herself. But in front of Carol, Helen said this book was great, although the truth was hurtful. But Carol knew it was all true. After sending away the long-legged, she finally added the last piece of information. The infected can't lie. Carol was a little confident. She came to the hospital to find Zoja. After a few simple words, Carol directly said the purpose of this. She has a few questions to ask Zoja. Zoja is in good shape, obviously very willing to serve. Carol first praised the ability of the infected to share consciousness very strongly, then tested the question. "Do you understand how this is done?" Zoja nodded confidently. They know the principles of it very well. Carol immediately asked the key question. Zoja's smile solidified. After a long time, she said she couldn't answer this question. Carol laughed like a father. She knows the infected can't lie. Zoja's statement undoubtedly gave a definite answer. If they can't do it, they definitely won't avoid this question. But Zoja didn't feel panic and anger. These new humans only have equal love and tolerance. Carol immediately rebuked. "Then why do you want to assimilate me?" Zoja smiled and said, "Don't you want to change us too?" However, there is a fundamental difference between the two of us. To be alone, to suffer, we've been you, but you've never been us. This seems to make sense. But Carol's heart did not waver at all. As long as the confirmation of the infected is accurate, it is possible. Next, all you have to do is to question the specific method of operation. While no one is around, Carol quietly touched the hospital's pharmacy. She found a kind of anesthetic in the drugstore. She just put it in her pocket. A staff member came out. Carol's face changed and her heart did not beat. She said she wanted to find some stimulating drugs. The staff was so kind. Unfortunately, the pharmacy here did not have it. If Carol really needed it, she could send the nearest pharmacy to send it over. Carol thanked her for nodding. When she got home, she put the stimulating drug in the toilet. This is just a lie. All she really needs is this. But before using it, Carol decided to experiment with it herself. Let's see if she can tell the truth. She set up a camera in front of the sofa. According to the instructions, she injected herself with a tube. However, after a dozen minutes, Carol did not feel anything. At first, She thought this drug was useless, until the night came. Carol woke up from the sofa. She couldn't remember how long she slept, not to mention what happened during this time. Carol immediately played the video taken by the camera. Her memory only stayed for more than 10 minutes after injecting the drug. The next strange behavior, even she herself saw it. In the video, Carol first messed around with the sofa for more than 10 minutes. Then she read her own work emotionally. In the end, there was nothing to do. Carol started to talk nonsense. But after listening to the content, she was sure that these were her own true thoughts, because most of them were complaints about Zosia. This also confirmed Carol's dissatisfaction with the infected, confirmed that the drug was effective. Carol decided to implement the next plan. She drove to the hospital again. She changed her coldness. She said she wanted to take Zosia out for a walk. Staying indoors is not good for recovery. Where can a simple infected fight a cunning human being? When the two of them walked into the elevator, Carol secretly touched the right trachea. Her hands quickly injected it into the droplet. After all this, the woman took a deep breath. Next, just wait for the effect to take effect. It felt like it was about time. Carol first inquired a few questions tentatively, found Zosia uncontrollably giving answers. She immediately pointed to the topic. How do I reverse all this? How do I reverse? Zosia realized that something was wrong. It took a lot of effort to hold back and not say the answer. Carol could only keep falling and keep repeating the previous questions. Zosia was still fighting, but the infected around her soon noticed the abnormality. They came together without meeting the children. Carol panicked. She took out her handcuffs. She tied herself to Zosia. Now no one can separate them. Carol knew that the infected would not use the wall on herself. So hurry up and ask for the answer you want. Zosia was about to speak. The infected around her suddenly started to scream. They were begging Carol not to do this. Some even shed tears on the spot. Carol was still asking. At the next moment, Zosia was uncontrollably lying on the ground. The doctor rushed to the front, detected her cardiac arrest. She had to be rescued as soon as possible. After taking off the handcuffs, Carol looked around. Although she was surrounded by people, she felt extremely lonely. However, the woman did not know that she was not alone in the battle. Zosia said before that there were 11 other virus-immune people like her in the world. Although the 5 people Carol had contacted refused to fight with her, but later Zosia recommended a lonely immune person. He was an ordinary warehouse manager. He refused to contact the infected from the beginning to the end. Even when Carol called, he was hung up countless times. Since the outbreak of the virus, the warehouse manager locked himself up in the office all day long. He wanted to get some information from the radio, but for some reason, all the frequency was in a state of silence. He did not leave the room for several weeks in a row. The stored supplies had run out. The warehouse manager was so hungry that he could not stand it. Even the cans and bottles were licked clean. At this time, a car horn sounded outside. The infected could not move the radar every day. They would send delicious food at a fixed time. The warehouse manager could not help but swallow his saliva. When the infected left, he quickly came to the front of the door of the lock. He looked at the colorful dishes. The man immediately stopped the urge to grab. He picked up his clothes again. When he passed by the warehouse of the customer, he finally came up with an idea. According to the company's management regulations, if the customer does not pay the management fee for a long time, he has the right to open the door of the warehouse. After writing the notice, the warehouse manager couldn't wait to pry open the customer's warehouse. Unfortunately, there were some old items piled up inside. The food in urgent need is indeed few. The only thing that can fill the stomach is a few bottles of expired dog food. While the warehouse manager was considering whether to use it or not, the phone on the table suddenly rang. The man thought it was a call from the infected again. He hung up without even thinking about it. However, the ringing of the phone did not stop. He patiently picked up the phone. As a result, the girl who spoke English came to the front of the door. The warehouse manager got angry and scolded him directly, but he still remembered the name of Carol. It seems that this man is more stubborn than Carol. He would rather eat expired dog food than accept any sacrifice of the infected. In the future, Carol may join forces with the warehouse manager and fight together to save those infected. Okay, that's all for today. If you like it, please continue to pay attention. See you next time.